Eyes and ears were opened in today's readings. In the first reading, the eyes of Adam and Eve were opened after eating the forbidden fruit. They realized that they were naked. But isn't it always the case? Whenever we sin, especially a terrible and terrifying sin we know we can't undo, we feel a kind of nakedness, guilt beyond telling, and a sense of shame that often make us think we don't deserve the love of God and a place in heaven. In the gospel, the community brought before Jesus a deaf man who had a speech impediment and begged him to lay his hand on him. Seeing and sensing the community's sincerity, Jesus took the man aside and commanded him, "Ephata," that is, be opened. Since the beginning of my rectorship, I had been crying out to the whole community and to each of you, "Ephata." I ask you to be honestly opened and naked, in quotation of course, before me of your struggle so I can help you. I cannot help you until you're open and honest with me. Honestly, I am happy that most of you, if not all, are already opened and honest with me. However, I can still see and sense that some are just partially opened and honest. Perhaps because it is still very hard for some of you to take aside your biases against seminary formators in general, that we are up to get you and kick you out. Or perhaps because some could not yet see and sense the sincerity of my desire to help you. Either way, it means only one thing. We both still have something to work on. You to take aside your biases against us, and us to prove our sincerity to you. Today, we celebrate the memorial of Saint Scholastica. The story was told that once Saint Benedict, the twin brother of Saint Scholastica, visited her. When it was time for her brother to return to his monastery, Saint Scholastica begged him to stay the night. Benedict refused, for the Benedictine rules prohibited him from spending a night away from his monastery. The case was closed. The heart of Benedict was already closed to the pleading of her sister. Thus, Saint Scholastica turned to the Lord. She began to weep, and laying her head upon her hands, prayed. In the next moments, a first thunderstorm arose, preventing him from leaving. And Saint Benedict asked her in shock what she had done. She replied, "I asked a favor of you, and you refuse it. I asked it of God, and He has granted it. Saint Scholastica's prayer was answered because it was in line with the charity of God, that the love of a sister for her brother overcame the law of Benedict's rule. The very one thing I beg the Lord, like the way Saint Scholastica begged him, is for this community to be open of our sincere concern and care for the individual members of this family. I pray and beg the Lord that you would be as concerned and caring as the people in today's gospel who brought the deaf-mute man before Jesus to cure him. I pray and beg the Lord that when you see and sense that a brother seminarian already turned deaf and mute and blind to the seminary formation, you will bring him before us out of your sincere and genuine concern and care for him. If this happens, I know not only that my begging is heard, but that also we, your firmators, have proven our sincerity, and you have set aside your biases against us.